Oh, hey, there we are, everybody. Hello. Well, good morning, everyone. Um, I'm coming to you live from Las Vegas, Nevada, because I'm doing shows here. I'm at Wise Guys Comedy Club in Las Vegas, Nevada. It's a new club, just opened a few months ago, and it's one that I actually helped build. I was a carpenter before I became a comedian. It's what I did between Marine Corps and being a comedian. And I helped start the original Wise Guys in West Valley City, Utah. Um, and every time, well, not every time, but majority of the time when Keith Stubbs opens a new comedy club, I get involved in some way. I enjoy working with my hands. I love building stuff. I love building comedy clubs. It's one of my favorite things to do. And so this last year, when he decided to open the new comedy club in Las Vegas, I jumped on it and started helping out. So did a lot of painting and uh, building stuff. Worked with subcontractors and having to work with plumbers, and it was glorious. It was a lot of fun. The Vegas place was an old building. I think it was built back in the 60s. It's been all kinds of different things, including at one point a clay shop. It was run by a couple gay fellows who had quite a following of housewives and other gay men who would frequently drop in at the place looking to buy clay while we were working. Uh, it was disappointing to inform them that they were no longer in that location. They moved. They were still in business. They just moved somewhere else. But anyway, so we got the new comedy club opened in August, and I finally get to headline it. I got to host the first couple weekends just to get the place open, but now I'm headlining, so it's very nice. So can everybody hear me? Uh, Thank you, everybody. Um, Thank you for the kind messages. But anyway, so I gotta tell you. Oh, I gotta share this with you. This is my Brian's Mobile One. If you guys are not familiar with Brian's Mobile One, he's on YouTube. Brian is a really just genuine, kind, generous, intelligent individual who he was one of the first people to start doing automotive videos on YouTube way back in the day. And when I was having issues with my car in Utah, he reached out to me and said, "Hey, I'm not that far from you. Let me come and get your car. Let's fix it." So we did, and if you're interested, those videos that we did together, he's got two of them up already, and we're probably going to do more. I would like to work with him more. We had a lot of fun. But go look him up, Brian's Mobile One on YouTube, and he's on Facebook too. So anyway, so it's been a crazy week. We got down to Vegas here a couple days ago with my son Brighton. We're hanging out and we're having a good time. And my wife, Teresa, is in Connecticut. Well, she's been in Connecticut, and she just flew. She was flying out here. She was supposed to be here yesterday because she handles all my merch at the shows, and people love meeting her too because she would be on this with me right now if she had flown in here on time, but she's stuck in Dallas because of the weather. It's a little crazy, but if you have the worst, I mean, getting stuck when you travel is horrible. But when it's someone you love gets stuck, that really sucks. That really sucks. Really sucks. So anyway, I got some guests this morning. Here's Greg. There's Ed. Greg did the stream. How you doing, Greg?
Hey, how you doing?
All right, hold on. I can't hear you. I got.
Uh-oh.
You got headphones, Brighton?
How's this?
Headphones.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, forgive me. I got a new microphone, and it's one of the ones that has the headphone jack on it, and I forgot to add headphones. So I can't. I need a cable. Okay.
Hello.
They're nice ones, too. Hold on a second. But, okay, those of you on the TikTok, you're getting to see the behind the scenes footage. Because I'm on StreamYard and I can't add. You can't add the other feed. What was it called? The TikTok. Can't add the TikTok to it. Can you hear me, Greg?
Yeah, buddy. Can you hear me?
Okay, you're good. Okay, hold on.
Is that? It has its own microphone.
Boomers unite.
But that should just plug right in.
You know what I think's pretty awesome, Rodney, is you were like, this winter stuff sucks. So I think I'm just gonna really quick decide to go do a show in Florida.
Broadcasting here. Is this it?
Yeah, that's it.
All right, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I can hear you. This is good.
Awesome.
Well, how you doing, Greg?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing super. Like I said,
That's
I'm stuck
good.
in Las Vegas.
See, I like how proactive you are. You were like, winter sucks. It's cold. Vehicles breaking down. To hell with this. I'm doing a show in Florida.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I am coming to Florida.
I'm envious.
Oh, I gotta tell you about Florida. I gotta tell you how this all shaped out. So a friend of mine, a comedian, his name is Donnie Stopa. He does a lot of musical stuff, plays the guitar. He's very funny dude. I met him like 4 years ago at a clean comedy competition in Carson City, Nevada. And we hit it off. We became pretty good friends, and just over the years, kept in touch. And now he's starting to kind of blow up himself. He's doing really great in Florida, and he's making a movie about clean comedy, kind of a documentary thing. And we were supposed to meet up in Los Angeles a couple weeks ago, but I couldn't come because of my Jeep broke down. But now it's worked out, so I'm actually going to go hang out with him in Florida and do some shows down there in the Orlando area.
Very cool.
So I don't have the exact locations. I know it's the 17th, 18th, and 19th. I'll be down there in the Orlando area doing shows. I don't have the actual venues yet. Hopefully, we'll be announcing that here fairly soon. But today I'm just hanging out. I'm waiting to go to the airport to pick up my wife. Hopefully I'll get to today. I've been on standby for the last 2 days. I know. Have you ever lived in Texas, Greg?
No, I've visited there. I've been around San Antonio area through Houston and some of the other regions. Not a lot though.
Yeah, it's funny. I lived there for about a year and a half, and anytime they have snow to any degree, they just freak out, and everything just comes to a standstill. Because they only get snow occasionally, and so it doesn't make sense to have all that snow removing equipment. So it's just when the snow shows up, they just shut down and wait for it to go away, and it's kind of funny. The first time I experienced snow in the South was when I was living in North Carolina. And you would have thought the end of the world was about to happen. It was Jesus was going to come out of the sky and usher in the millennial. It was, they just did not know what to do with themselves. People would stop in the middle of the road. They wouldn't get off to the side of the road. They would stop on the road because they were so freaked out they didn't know what to do. And this was just this was a powdery snow. It's like driving on air. there was nothing to worry about, but they were completely like, and people calling the 911 because they were scared they weren't sure if they were going to be able to get home because they were going to slide off in the snowbank that was half an inch tall on the side of the road.
I think of it differently. I think when we're talking about American drivers, I think any day is dangerous on that road.
Well, that's
I've driven cross country, and you add a little bit of snow, a little bit of, like I'll tell you what, man, I've driven through Statesville, North Carolina, multiple times over the years, and that is like the most dangerous place to drive through when it's wet out, like at 6 a.m. to like 8 a.m. when all the workers are going to work. They won't slow down, they won't stop. They're sliding around everywhere at 80 miles per hour going around you. And I'm like, that guy's about to wreck. No, he didn't wreck somehow. Oh, that guy's he's going to hit me. No, he didn't hit me. That's just driving through that one little area. So
it's always amazed me when I see people driving in the snow going really fast, like it's some sort of a superhero ability. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, you're not displacing, I don't care how good of a car you have or how good of tires you have. Black ice is going to get you and destroy your life if you aren't patient and careful with it.
None of us are too cool for physics.
Yes,
right?
I was okay. So I was driving in Utah. I grew up in Utah, so I grew up driving in the snow. I get how to do this. So I'm driving down I-15. And I'm coming over what's called the point of the mountain, which is just this, big elevation between Utah and Salt Lake County, Provo and Salt Lake. And so I'm coming down this hill, and it has snowed so fast and so much that they haven't even gotten the plows out on the roads yet. So you can't see the lines in the road. It's probably a good foot of snow. I mean, it's up there. And so we're all just kind of, the trick is to follow somebody, but not follow them really close.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? That's the thing that always drives me nuts is you're driving along and somebody says, oh, he knows what he's doing. So then they come and like get right on your tail. And it's like, you please. It's like, if I have to slam on my brakes, we're all getting in an accident. You dummy, get back off a little bit here. But anyway, so I'm driving. And I'm going about 35 miles an hour. And that was probably still going a little too fast, to be honest with you. But, I'm trying to maintain. So I'm going along. And this guy in a little, I believe it was a Mazda Miata. You know what I'm talking about? A little road.
Two-seater.
Two-seater. And he comes just zipping past me. He's probably doing 60, 70 miles an hour. And he just flies right by me. And all I could think is, I hope this guy doesn't get in. He's going to cause an accident because he's kind of an idiot, But he's driving like, oh, you dummy, you don't know how to drive in the snow. Look out. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I actually said a little prayer that I hope this guy doesn't get hurt because I was like, or hurt somebody else. Well, not even 2 miles down the road, he was off. He had spun and hit. There was a median in between the north and southbound lanes. He had spun and hit that. His back end had gone up on the concrete, and he had come down, almost flipped over, but had flipped around. So now he was facing traffic, but he was off the road. You know what I mean? And all I could think of is, praise Jesus. He put him into the wall. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He wasn't physically hurt, but I think he learned his lesson.
I had a similar thing happen back in, I think, 2003, going through the Appalachian Mountains. You got this one area that's a 5% grade on I-77, and there was a blizzard going on. And I like what you said, 35 was probably too fast. I was going about 40. Something like that, and it was too fast. But all the cars going, flying by me, I'm like, they're going to get me killed. I have to go like 40 at least, or I'm going to cause trouble. I see this idiot come flying behind me about 80 miles per hour, and the whole left lane was all ice and like 2 feet of snow, and I predicted what was going to happen. She shot around me to pass me, and I downshifted and started tapping the brakes, and she spun in circles as soon as she hit that left lane, and hit my car and everything. Almost knocked me over the side of the mountain. That would have been real fun. But these people were, they were in a hurry to get to their families, to see their families for Christmas. And it's like, you're not going to get there if you're dead, people. It just doesn't work that way.
But, I know it's the dad in me, but I always told my kids it's better to get there late than not at all.
Yeah. You brought up Drybar. I watched your Drybar special recently. Freaking brilliant, man. I've watched it about 3 times so far. I just found it. I've been watching you for I don't know how long, and I just found that Drybar special. And Drybar comedy really fascinates me. That is the most difficult form of comedy out there, I think, at least. If when you can't, you can't cuss and you can't go into a lot of things, which really these days a lot of people are laughing at, because of shows like South Park and everything. I think comedy's more lewd than ever. But Drybar, it really, like that one part where you're holding your flab and you say, if your bones look like this, you got problems. And then that part where you're looking at somebody and you're going, it's terrible to behold, but you can't look away, can you? That part, I kind of lost it. Dude. If you guys out there any of you who haven't seen that yet, look for it on his channel. You guys got to see it. It's brilliant. I can't wait to see this show your friend is producing on Drybar Comedy too. I've got a new fascination with Drybar Comedy because of watching your stand-up.
Oh, it's a great concept, and they kind of the guys who created the Drybar, they're the ones who did it was called VidAngel. Are you familiar with that?
Mm-mm.
And what it was they had a service where you could watch a movie. You could rent any movie you wanted, and you could set parameters for editing it. So that so you could censor out the stuff you didn't want to watch. You know what I mean? And because there's an important message for everyone in Lethal Weapon 2. That's why. But like if you want to watch a movie, you don't want any of the gratuitous nudity or the F-bombs or whatever, you could set it up and they would eliminate those. Well, they got sued by Disney for doing so. And so they kind of decided, well, we're going to transition away from doing that, obviously, because they already had a huge base of customers. And so what they started doing was just doing just doing their own original work. Just start creating original productions that are clean. And one of the first things they thought of doing was stand-up, because they knew there were stand-up comedians who could work clean. I thought, well, it's a really easy thing to film. They've already got their act. We just point cameras at them and provide an audience and record it and go for it. And so I think them not really knowing comedy that well helped them, because they had the genius of not trying to book it themselves. They contacted Keith Stubbs, the guy who owns Wise Guys. They contacted him, and he's a comedian. He goes comics he knows everybody in comedy. He's you know what I mean? And so he started booking it, and they told there was no restrictions of who they would book. It was just as long as they're clean and they're funny. That was it. That's all that mattered. So now all of these comedians who are ignored by Comedy Central and HBO and all these great comics who don't fit the narrow demographics of what the studios are looking for, all of a sudden they now have a place to go and do stuff. And so he's bringing in great comics who've been around for years, who are just ignored by everybody else, and now putting them on this platform, and it just blew up.
It's awesome.
Because you could sit down and watch comedy with your friends, with your family, with your kids. Can watch this stuff. and it's great comedy. It's really high quality stuff. It's not just, you know, a bunch of dad jokes. I mean, it's really great comedy.
Yeah, I've seen
Really
actually.
great comics.
I've actually since seeing yours, I follow that channel now, and I've been watching other people's. Who's this guy? Zaney, I think his name was. Let me look.
Bob
up.
Zaney, yes.
Bob Zaney, brilliant.
Zaney Report, yes, that dude
Love that guy.
And he has been doing it for years.
I can tell.
It is so. He is so funny.
He is. I lost it.
He is just nuts. I love that dude. I've worked with him a couple times, and he has been so incredibly funny.
I enjoyed how he would sarcastically, after telling the joke, he would sarcastically scold the audience for not getting it, and he would telegraph what the joke was.
Yeah.
You know, and he, like, for example, one of them, I think he said something about somebody not making it there. He goes, because he's not going to make it there, people. Work with me, you know, or something like that. You know, start scalding them up. Hilarious stuff. Just
He's
a lot of I found his attitude was a lot of what was funny. You know, his personality, delivery.
Yeah, Bob Zaney, he's one of those guys. It's, you know, I see it all the time in comedy where you have these guys who are so talented, so funny, so skilled, but nobody knows who they are. And it's so unfortunate. Because but it's just the way the world is now. I mean, that's the problem that you have with comedy these days, is that if you're not that specific demographic, you don't get seen by anybody.
Yeah, and you know, and I have my ideas as to why that is, but I'm not going to go into that on your channel. I'll go into that on. I've started a new channel called Nerd World Order. We're going to be covering the globalists and all that kind of bummer stuff that I know some of your crowd definitely doesn't want to talk about or think about right now. But yeah, we're just starting that. I think Tuesday is going to be our first stream, and we're going to cover the trucker convoy in Ottawa. What do you think of that?
I think I love it. I love the chaos. There's so many things that need to change in this world. And it's finally, I think people are starting to realize that we have more power than we thought we did. And when people start realizing, hey, we're the ones in control, then we can start making some changes. Because, yeah, I mean, the wealthy just keep getting wealthier and poor people getting poorer, and everything that happens, they say, oh, it's going to be better now. And it's not. It's the same scam they keep pulling on us over and over again. And instead of actually addressing the actual issues that need to be done, they use those crises that they create most of the time, or anything that comes along, and they just take advantage of it and take more and more from us and get more and more power and control. And yeah, it's time to break that down.
Yeah.
It's I think this is a good step.
Yeah, I don't think it's the solution. I think it will start things. It'll kick things off. I'll be real with you. I think Trudeau will he'll call for UN troops to come in, and I think it'll get very violent. I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah, because Trudeau is he's not a reasonable individual, and I do not think he's a very humble individual. No. And because of that, his pride's going to get the better of him, and he's going to. Yeah.
Well, the same can be said of all the useful idiots for the globalists. Biden, the French prime minister, the Australian prime minister. Is that a president? I forget with Australia. It's one or the other. But all these are useful idiots. These are desperate people who didn't have anything really going on, but they had the right connects, and they're being used. They think they're getting advantage by betraying their own people, and they're going to learn the hard way when they're tossed aside as the disposable tools that they are. That's not the case. They're not going to be sitting on top of the world. I don't know that the globalists are going to win their Agenda 2030 goal, but I think they're going to do a lot of damage in the process, and that's why I bring this up. Some people think I'm obsessed with it, and I don't think that's obsession.
Oh, you are.
Do you think that's obsession, or is that I just see a big threat that is not going away, and we got to do something. And people aren't listening; they're not caring, enough. They just think it's going to go away, or somebody else is going to handle it, and that's why I know nobody's probably going to handle it if any of us don't step up and do it. So maybe I am obsessed, but I think maybe I want others to be obsessed too, if that's what obsession is.
Yeah, no, we all need to have a little bit of an obsession. Like I tell people, I said, I get accused. This is one of my biggest criticisms that people have of me and my videos. It's like, oh, you're just basically playing music on the Titanic. I mean, it's the ship's going down, and you're not doing anything to help except make people feel good. And it's like, oh, okay. First of all, I've never told anybody not to be involved in what's going on in the world. I've never told people, to just bury your head in the sand and, sing la 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 to yourself. Mm-hmm. What I tell people is, hey, you need to be focused and in a healthy state of mind so that you aren't controlled and manipulated. Mm-hmm. And that's part of the thing, the whole fear and creating the anxiety. That's how they get you. That's how they get you to do things that they want you to do. That's how they control and manipulate your life. That's how they keep you restricted, is by making you restrict yourself out of fear, out of the anxiety. And so I'm trying to help people realize that when you're in a healthy state of mind, you make better decisions. Mm-hmm. That's my goal with all my videos and teaching people about stoicism and showing people, hey, you can get out of this funk that you're in, because this funk that you're in is being pushed on you by outside forces. And when you realize it, you can combat it.
Mm-hmm. And anybody who thinks that about what you're doing has no friggin' clue what you're actually doing, because what you're doing is we have a lot of psyops just bombarding us all the time, especially in social media. And a lot of it.
Those. I mean, when people say, "Oh, you're a conspiracy theorist," no, you go to the CIA. They've absolutely admitted that they've been doing these things.
Well, yeah, they pretty much run our entertainment and our media, but and they brag about it. But the thing is what you're doing is so much more than what those people are accusing you of. You're attacking that very psyops and showing how ridiculous it is. That those types of psyops are meant to push people into, or sway people into inactive lifestyles, like such as
they feel powerless. Oh no, I can't.
Yes,
I'm too small. I can't do anything.
Yes,
no, you can do. You have unlimited capabilities, unlimited possibilities out there. You've just got to be willing to go out and do something about it.
Yes, and a lot of that psyops. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I was just saying, a lot of that psyops is focused around New Age spirituality. Which is, I believe, was created just for the purpose of psyops. I'm not saying spiritual people are stupid or wrong or anything like that. Maybe they're the ones that are right.
Well,
I don't know.
They've co-opted. They thought. I think that they've co-opted it, and they've really deranged the teachings. Mm-hmm. Because the idea that being a passive, easygoing, just go with the flow, blah, blah, that's not what Gandhi was not a pacifist in that regards. Mm-hmm. If you look, and people keep bringing Gandhi. Okay, a great example. I posted a story from when I was a kid, when I was like 9 years old. I think it was about 3rd, 4th grade. Did you read that one? No. It created kind of a controversy, but here's the story. So,
the bully thing. Yes, I did. I saw that. I saw the controversy.
Yeah, this kid Shane would bully everybody on the bus, especially my group, there was only one trailer park, and that, in fact, I think there still is only one trailer park in Sandy, Utah, and we lived in it. And of course, we all had the same bus stop, so everybody knew who the trailer park kids were, right? Mm-hmm. And this kid would would tease all of us, call us
Mhm.
all kinds of names and, white trash. And well, he was a little more colorful of his language than I'm going to be here, but
I'm sure.
he would constantly just berate everybody and talk about how rich and everything he was, and he wore that puffy vest all the time, and it had the ski tags on it. If you're not from a place that has skiing, people who go skiing, they get these lift tags, and they'll leave it as like a badge of honor. It's like, oh yeah, look at me, I do the diamond lanes, whatever. So he had all these stupid tags on it, and he was just an obnoxious jerk. And I'm a very easygoing person, and I'm just like, just ignore him, he'll go away. Well, he wouldn't go away. He was and the more quiet and just leave me alone attitude, the worse he got.
Yeah.
And he started tuning in on me because I was a bigger kid than everybody else. I grew up I grew real fast when I was a youngster. In the third grade, I weighed 120 pounds. Ooh. The average person was about 60. So I was huge and I was tall, but I was a gentle giant. I didn't want to fight anybody, and I could fight. Me and my brothers. This was during the Muhammad Ali, right? And so me and my brothers used to do this thing where we would put socks on our hands, we'd pile socks in, and then we'd put a sock over the top. So you had like this bump over thing, and we would practice boxing each other, but you couldn't hit each other to hurt them. But the idea was you would score points by touching their face with your big lump of socks on their, So we got good at punching and blocking and everything, but we were trying not to hurt each other because we still liked each other. But
yeah.
But anyway, so this kid keeps pestering, and finally it just got to me one day, and I get off the bus, and that thing that kids will do where you're walking and they'll come up and they'll kick the back of your heel to get you a trip. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah.
He was trying to do that. So he was right behind me, and he had kicked my heel, and I kind of stumbled forward a little bit, and I was just like, that's it, I'm done. That was part of the story I probably should have added. But anyway, I just turned around. I didn't say a word. I grabbed him by that stupid puffy vest. It was kind of an orangish red. Anyway, grabbed him by the stupid puffy vest and just launched him into these bushes. And he goes in head first. It wasn't a shove. It was, I picked him up and threw him right into this bush. And so he goes in head first, and he gets stuck. He couldn't get out of this thing. So the bus monitor lady there in the lane, she had to come and help him out. The teacher helped him out. And it was funny because I didn't get in trouble by the teacher. The teacher saw the whole thing and didn't say a word to me about it. In fact, she got mad at him and said, I believe it's something to the effect of maybe you shouldn't try to tease the biggest kid in your school, And he finally did. He stopped bugging me, and he stopped bugging, especially when I was around. He would stop, because it was like, sometimes the best thing to do is not necessarily use force, but know that you have the ability to use force.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes show the bullies. You have a super chat by Pro Design for $20. He says, you are a wise and funny man. Thank you for what you do. Okay, now I have to get back to work. Bye.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you. $20. Holy cow. That's
awesome.
That's some gas money. I can get to my show tonight. Sweet.
It's fabulous.
Thank you.
It's really good stuff. Yeah, this is the thing I learned about bullies is, we were talking about the Psyops, right? And how a lot of spirituality or Eastern philosophies and such have been perverted over here in the West and just thrown all over social media as these, inactive type philosophies. That's one thing I pick up about, and I picked it up immediately about what you were doing, was as soon as I figured out that you're playing a character, which it took me probably 4 or 5 videos maybe to figure it out. And once I figured out you're playing a character, I realized what you were doing. You're basically making fun of those inactive philosophies, those, I should say non-proactive philosophies, and actually telling people to be proactive in their lives.
Yeah.
And so I think it's kind of ridiculous anybody would have the kind of critique that you were mentioning earlier, the claims that you're not doing anything to help. Because I think, for one thing, getting everybody to calm the hell down is a great start. Just relax, start poking fun at the ridiculousness of what these globalist idiots are trying to do. It really is idiocy. I don't care what secrets that they're holding back that we don't know about yet, that they've got in the works or anything. They're idiots. What they're doing is idiotic.
Yes,
it really is. And they need to be laughed off the damn planet.
Yeah.
They need to be laughed. They're useful idiots, need to be laughed out of their positions of power and authority, wherever they are. Anybody that comes up and says, you're supposed to be wearing a mask. Like, I'm not a slave or a bandit. Why would I wear a mask? You're an idiot. I was in Walmart one day, and a guy says, hey, what's up? What have you been into? And I'm like, I don't know who the hell you are, dude. You got your face diaper on. Take off your face diaper, bro. And he got embarrassed, and he pulled it down. I was like, and just kind of like embarrassed. I said, don't be embarrassed, man. You got a face. That's you were born with it. You're going to have it till you die. Show that thing. A bunch of old Karens, like elderly Karens nearby, were like cringing, like, I should yell at him. I should yell at I could just see their shoulders go up. That thing that the old Karens do when somebody says something that offends them, they go, the outrage.
How dare you? How dare you?
And you know what I did? I stood there and laughed like a damn Viking, like, at all of the idiots around me. And that's the way we got to handle this shit.
Yeah.
So we can't comply with this. Take them seriously.
I like to point people, what slavery is a big topic lately. And if you go looking at how they were able to keep the slaves, basically, think about it. Some of these plantations had thousands of slaves, and they had just a handful of dudes guarding them, and they were able to maintain them. And part of the reason was they used philosophy and religion with this attitude of, hey, that by being a slave, that somehow this made you more Christian. That you were one of God's most chosen flock because you were a slave. And then the slave owners, they looked at themselves as being protectors. So so it was a God-given thing that they were there to take care of, that these slaves could not care for themselves. And so you're the shepherd to that, and they're your flock. And this was the kind of imagery that they would use on both sides to kind of maintain that system. They would, and it was a complete perversion of the scriptures and the philosophy behind, being a meek individual, being a, what I mean? That they used the words of Christ to, they just distorted them and used them to control the whole situation, to make slave owners feel good about what they were doing. Because, on the surface, it's horrifying what they were doing. To own the human being and force them to serve you, that's just horrific. And yet they thought themselves as being good, pious Christians in doing so. It was like, how can you possibly do this?
I don't believe they did. I believe that was their surface.
But they would use that. They would use that to kind of justify to themselves and to others that, somehow they're shepherds of these flocks. But now you bring that to what's going on now, and with the merging of Eastern philosophy with Western philosophy, they kind of created this hybrid thing, this idea that being passive and not resisting was and they use Gandhi. And I like to point out Gandhi was not a pacifist to that degree. He was actually, the best way to explain him, he was a passive aggressive, because he used his he saw that if they went to an actual war between the people of India and the British Empire, there was no way that India could win, because they didn't have the firepower, they didn't have the military might. But what they did have was they had the numbers. And if they just passively resisted, if they just stopped participating in what was going on, that eventually it would break the British down, because the British, one, their officers really didn't want to be there anyway. Most of the officers, they only took these jobs because it was it was a nice little feather in the cap. It's like, oh, look at me.
Right.
And
of course, they wanted some Indian ladies too. They wanted to go have fun with them.
When it came down to where it was like, hey, the British Monarchy saying, hey, why don't you just go shoot them all and get them out of the way? They're going like, that's insane. They don't have guns. I can't. My military training tells me not to shoot at somebody who's not shooting back. I can't do this. And so Gandhi was smart enough to see how to break their system down by just basically being non-compliant. Mm-hmm. And it was an aggressive move, but it was an intelligent move. But it wasn't true passivity. It wasn't like, because a true passive person wouldn't just sit there and do nothing. A passive person is one who submits themselves to an authority and just goes along to get along. They want to do things to resist. And so there's a misunderstanding of what it was meant by what Gandhi was doing. He wasn't saying, don't do anything. He's saying the best thing to do is get in the way and don't participate. And that's an action. That's an aggressive action against an oppressor. Mm-hmm. So I like to point, because people keep telling me that you should be more like Gandhi and preach. And I'm like, I am. The problem is you aren't paying attention to what Gandhi was saying. That's the problem. So
Gandhi is a controversial study, because
yes, he was not necessarily the best of persons.
No, he was really quick to sacrifice others in his campaign, and I feel like my mindset is people keep telling me, well, we can't violently revolt because there will be a lot of death and a lot of
they absolutely have more weapons, and they can kill a lot of people in a very short period.
They don't though. If you're talking about the USA today, Canada today, we have a lot more weapons. In fact, it would only take logistically about 5% of our population to overthrow all of it in the U.S. And that's something that the military has studied, and that's something that their officers know and higher ups. But that's something they don't usually talk about. They want us to think that there's no way that we can beat them.
Wipe us all out in a matter of minutes.
And the reality is that it's the opposite. The way I look at it is this: if a violent action were taken, I feel like it would actually prevent a lot more deaths than what it would cause. Because if you do nothing right now, if we continue doing nothing, what'll happen is millions more are going to die to this bioweapon that people are injecting into their veins. I've had several family members inject that crap. I've seen firsthand that if it doesn't kill you right off, it ruins you. I'll just say that. I'm trying to keep things a little light on your show. I
know. This is
it's difficult.
The thing though with you, Greg, which is so fun.
This ought to be good.
It doesn't matter what it is we're talking about. Somehow you bring you manage somehow to bring the most important issue into the issue. It's like, hey, we're talking about childhood bullies. Oh, by the way, that reminds me of the most biggest bully of all time. Let's talk about Fauci.
I just, I feel like I know a guy named Bantam Joe, and he's a pretty brilliant guy, and he's doing what he could do to help things. And and he says if you have access to any kind of platform, you should probably speak out against this stuff. And to a degree, I feel the same way, but it's at the same time I don't want to, like, I know there's a large portion of your audience specifically that are here for emotional support. They're not here to see what's going on in the world.
Yeah, kind of. My thing is that all of this other stuff, everybody's talking about it. You can go, and I want to give people a break from all of this stuff. I want
Yeah.
to. I don't want to avoid it, but I just want to give people, and I hate to use the word safe space, but just give people a place where you can come and just let's chat and have fun and talk about
I
life.
love that.
Chill
love
out
that.
and relax.
Yeah, the last time I was on here, one of your fans, a lady mentioned in the chat, she says, I'm just here for the emotional support, and I don't really like this dark stuff you guys are talking about, so I'm going to mute the channel, but I'm going to stay here and interact in the chat and just let me know when you guys are done talking about that stuff. We talked about it for about 3-4 minutes, and then I messaged her in the chat, and said, we're done now. And we're back to just goofing around. And she said, oh, thank you so much. And she was very thankful for that. And then she unmuted. And I thought that was really awesome because, you don't see that a lot. Either somebody like her is going to get made fun of because, she's requesting, like the topics or whatever. If she's requesting or letting us know what she wants out of the show. I think that's great. I think that's great.
Oh, yeah, because I want to start doing this more. There's a lot of stuff I want to talk about, and okay, here's my dilemma. Just because people keep telling me, Rodney, you need to do a podcast, you need to do these lives, and let me just tell you my issue, why I've resisted it. I think people are interested in philosophy. I think it's a fascinating subject, but people are scared of it. And so when I start talking about philosophy, when I say philosophy, people have such weird ideas, and they think it's just these strange ideas that matter nothing, and it's kind of a waste of time, really. But and so it's my struggle is I want to talk about these things. I want to talk about how to improve your life, how to be happier, how to live your life. But it's like, okay, what do I have to share that's new? What do I have to share? I think I get those ideas playing in my head, and it's like, are people even going to be interested? And I guess it's my own self-doubt, I guess, about myself, and just overcoming that. I still have, even though I've had a lot of success with the videos. I still worry about putting something that is of good quality people are going to want to watch, and so that's my struggle. But I'm encouraged by the comments people are saying, and then it's great. I do want to do this more. I've got some great things I want to talk about more and help people. Just live life.
Well, I like the idea that your community is okay. So I'm very much against cancel culture. In fact, I'm part of a community called Comicsgate, which is a bunch of independent comic book creators who are actively fighting against mainstream media's cancel culture. And a lot of us, for example, want to keep politics out of comics entirely. We just want fun, escapism. Like, people need some fun, man. Like, nothing's fun, especially in the mainstream anymore. There's nothing fun in the mainstream, in any of the mainstream entertainment. It's a lot of hacks out there. Like, I guess mainstream royalty families, letting their brats like putting their brats up as the new stars and stuff. And that's why we get all these so-called comedians that aren't funny.
Yeah.
like for example, Melissa McCarthy is not funny. Kevin Hart is not funny. I could name a whole list, like all these idiots. Will Ferrell's funny, but the writers writing his movies the last several years and the directors directing his movies are not funny.
Oh yeah, that the one the Sherlock Holmes one, that thing was just absolutely trash.
There have been several, in fact.
Yeah,
and there's a very short supply of real significant talent in the mainstream industry.
Well, one of the things I've noticed in writing, and trying to in actually trying to get things made in Hollywood, the thing I've noticed is that they don't really want anything original. They want you to come with, oh, it's this idea combined with this idea. They want stuff that's already worked. And that's why you go to the movies and you can sit down within 5 minutes. You already know the plot. You already know where this story's going. You're not surprised by any of it because it's like, oh, I've seen the same story. Yes, you have, over and over again. They just keep telling the same stories over and over and over again. And it's so...
I'd like to answer something Bobcat Carpenter asked. Says, when is your movie coming out? Bobcat, we were getting ready a few months ago to start some test shooting and start pre-production for that. And then I ran into family crises because of the injection. We had family members, injecting. We had heart attacks, strokes we had to deal with, and that's been a big delay. And Rodney's been, of course, on tour. So we are getting things back on track to start with test shooting here in the near future. I'm trying to get all that rolling right now, but it's a very difficult time right now to do anything on a professional level because of all the constant changing of mandates and the way business has to be conducted and travel and all this different stuff. It's getting ridiculous, but
yeah,
it isn't something that Bobcat. It's not something that we just threw out there just for the hell of it. It is something that's going to happen. There has been brainstorming on the story, and I believe I have the perfect screenwriter to write the screenplay now. We're taking our time to recruit the best talents in some of the key positions. Like I'm definitely taking my time looking for the director of photography because I want somebody who's really going to grasp what Rodney does and know when it's time to capture the rawness of what he does, the improv. At the same time, there are other shots that need to be beautiful shots, because there is a beauty in what Rodney does, what he talks about. And I think that needs to come out, sure, he's making fun of the so-called spiritual guru types, right? But at the same time, he is actually talking about things that they should, in a way, probably they should be doing if they were legitimate about it. There is something special about how all of us are connecting around Rodney's comedy. I believe Rodney is going to be one of the top comedians of the next decade. And I believe this movie is probably going to be the funniest movie people have seen in a long time because it's indie, because the people involved in it really give a shit about it. It's not just another thing to throw together. I fully 100% believe in Rodney enough that I want to change my life. I'm willing to change my life and go and work on this project as much as possible and put some of the things I'm doing aside to work on it too. And I believe all of you also watching this right now believe in him fully as well. So I think that we're going to make this happen. We're going to make it happen in a big way.
We are. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. So yeah, those of you who don't know, we're making a movie about Leonard McCrunsky, about his origins, and it's going to be fun. I don't want to give too much away, but we are doing that. And if you want to support this or me, watching today is also obviously helping and sharing my videos. I appreciate it. But also, you can see right there on the screen, rodneynorman.com. You can join my email list on there. You can get the show updates where I'm going to be performing live. And also, I have merchandise. You can purchase Rodney Norman stuff, and we're working on some new designs. We got some new stuff coming out and so some of the designs that we have now are going to be going away. So go in and check. We still have some calendars left if you're interested. We got those, so that's there. But anyway,
calendars are awesome.
Yeah, thanks. They're a lot of fun. My son is really took the kind of spearheaded the whole project, and he puts them together. It's I think he does a great job. He has most of the photography, and he puts it all designs and everything. He does a great job. But anyway, I have an answer. I'm a full-blooded God-fearing American capitalist. I love capitalism. I think it's a beautiful, wonderful thing. And so I'm bringing on a friend here, a new friend. Are you ready? Here we go. I think you know this gentleman. This is Jay. How are you doing, my friend?
Javi.
JV. Is that right?
No, it's Javi. So it's a
Javi.
Javi.
It's got a J. I'm sorry.
Yep.
Javi.
Everybody
never actually.
That's all right.
But anyway, Javi, tell the people who you are and what you're all about.
So my name is Javi Apsher, and I guess I'm just a little bit so I can kind of manipulate it here because in the camera. But my name is Javi Apsher. We own a product called These Nuts Bowl Peanuts. Our company's name is Peanut Gallery Foods, family owned, and we're Native American, and we started a bowl peanut kind of like ordeal, and it's expanded and it's just grown, and people love our peanuts. So we added new products, and we have D's wieners. So we got D's nuts and D's wieners. So we can kind of handle all kinds of different perspectives of all that stuff. And we kind of wanted to bring some humor into the mainstream type of thing, because that is our goal. We're trying to become mainstream with our product, give you really good wholesome products. We only buy from America, and we only manufacture in America. So we're kind of keeping it local and maintaining that model. And as we've been growing and developing, we started about 7 months ago. And honestly, we started about 7 months ago with $10 in our pocket because of the COVID issue. And within that model of 7 months, we've grown to 3 properties. We have a north location, south location. We're developing it out. And then we always, deal with like social media. Like I'm familiar with Greg, and I've seen Rodney through this and that, and I was just like Greg when I first seen your videos, and I don't know how I got them. I was like, oh my God, this guy's an idiot. And then I started watching it, and I was like, wait a minute, and then Mahatma Gandhi came to mind. I was like, oh my God, this guy's got a new way of approaching how to say something that's actually really real behind it. And then, like Greg, I kind of like watched it in this May, and then I started following you, and then once we started growing in our business, I was looking for people that were wholesome and had a good background, and I reached out to you. And actually, we had I wanted to do a video, and I still have the video, but we never corresponded, and we just kind of pivoted and all that stuff. And a couple months later, I think about a month ago, again, we reached back out to you, and you've always been really helpful in that degree. So we wanted to partner up with you. So we pitched an ambassador type of deal with Mr. Rodney, and I even had some responses like, he doesn't do that. So I'm glad you feel the same way about us. I don't know, but I think you do. But that's kind of how we developed our relationship.
Yeah, and Javi's nuts and wieners are very wholesome, guys. You're gonna love his nuts and wieners. Just get them up in your mouth. Get them up.
Everybody likes these nuts in their mouth.
Yeah, and they're boiled peanuts. That's what you're hawking, right?
Yeah. We're moving to roasted soon.
And I had never had boiled peanuts until I lived in North Carolina, and somebody gave it to me. You eat the whole thing.
Some people do. Some people do. Some people don't.
That's how I first tried them. I ate the whole. They said, "Oh, just eat the whole thing." And
I've been eating them for 46 years. I can't eat them all. So you're a better man than me. I'll crack them open and eat just a peanut.
Okay, well, maybe somebody was just pulling a joke on me. I don't know.
I
But
think they were.
good. I like it.
You know, and honestly, I've seen people that come up to the stand, and we were talking and stuff like that, and they were from Georgia, so up north, like in North Carolina and stuff like that, they may eat the whole thing, and that's kind of like one of their things. But down here in Florida, we tend to not. But I have met some people in Florida that do it too. So just personal preference.
Oh, gotcha. They're delicious. They are delicious. So I'm excited. No, I'm not. I've kind of had to be careful about what I use the character to promote, because I don't want to just promote, everything. You know what I mean? And I like your company. I like what you guys are doing. I love your philosophy, and I dig it. So I think it's going to be fun. I think my character promoting something called These Nuts just works.
The mellow fellow up on these nuts.
Well, we're Native American. Our family is Native American. Work hard and all that good stuff. And after following you, we're a verbal culture. So people tell stories and they have meanings inside those stories. Now, most Native American stories don't tell you what the plot line is, and kind of what you do is why it led us to you, because that we relate to that really well, because some people's when you watch a video and it has a purpose behind it, there's layers of that purpose, and some of those reach people at different points. So like when you're communicating to your audience, which I think a lot of people have this perception of what you're doing, it part of that story or that way that you're saying it might reach a certain demographic, and then somebody that's a little bit more leaning towards this intelligent, and I'm not saying anybody's dumb or anything, but just experience more so, and in their life they might get more out of that story than that other person, but it still has meaning. And then maybe 5 years down the road, and they're thinking about that story that you told when they were 16 or 17 or whatever, or 19 or 22 or whatever, and now they're 30, it has a different meaning, and they're like, oh, that made sense. And it's just like that with everything. And that's kind of another thing that kind of led me to you. And I know I even referenced Mahatma Gandhi to you too. I think you're going to be the new Gandhi, because just the perception that you're throwing out there with the way you're trying to convey your message is humorous. But if you really sit there and think about what you're saying in that little snippet of whatever you're doing, if people look at it and kind of like ponder a little bit, they'll get some really good information from it. My perspective. So that's why we kind of reached out to you, and because you have the same mindset that we do as far as the way you're telling your story. So we wanted to back you and maybe support you. It's a win-win. Once we grow and stuff like that, you get more exposure, and at the end of the day, it's business. Exposure is everything. So that's kind of where we were at.
Oh, awesome.
So, Lauren Morris in the chat, really, she gets the whole thing. She says, some people just don't get it, the Rodneyisms. It's all about self-awareness. We got to laugh at life. Yes, we have to laugh. Just like what I was saying earlier, when these idiots act like they're important and they're authority figures, and they're telling you to do ridiculous things, you laugh at them. You got to laugh at them because the only other alternative is fight them. And I would like to think maybe, hopefully we won't have to fight. I don't think that's going to be the case, but I mean, I think we should try to exhaust whatever, we should try to, I don't know, man. A lot of these people who are doing the work of these authority figures, I mean, a lot of them think they're doing the right thing, and they think they're good people for it. They're trying to be good people.
The divisions and the anger towards each other is what they want to create.
Divide and conquer.
One thing I'm trying to show people is, hey, we aren't enemies. We aren't. This whole blue state, red state thing is nonsense and it's garbage. And if you're participating in it, you're helping the system, because the system is getting you arguing with other people, so you're not paying attention to what's actually happening. And I just want people to wake up and go, oh, okay, just being mad at my neighbor because they vote different than me is nonsense. It's absolute complete nonsense. And
You know, I
go ahead.
didn't mean to interrupt. And the premise behind our logos, we've got Disney artists that do our logos, comic book artists that's doing our logos, but we always had the main mentality of what our product imagery is going to be, and it's like a slap in the face for everybody out there, because we've had people push us towards it. Well, you need a more professional approach to your product if you're going to scale like that. And we don't want to do that. And we may fail at this, and we may not. And there may be a certain demographic that does. I don't want to name names or Karenize us or cancel culture us or anything like that. But if you got a good, wholesome product, it's manufactured and premised to be decent and healthy for your customers, I think you're on for a win. But how you approach your it is like these nuts. If you look at our logo, it's got a squirrel and there's a nut in a reference area, and it is a slap in the face, because America, you need to wake up. There's people out there that are throwing labels at you that meet your standards for whatever you're standardizing how your product should be displayed, and they're giving you fake stuff it's not even wrapped in BDA. It's not even real. It's a manufactured type of product, and they're shipping it out to you, and you're eating it in droves, and it's just not wholesome. And it's all because they fooled you by being this other label that you think is standardized. And that's what we did with our label. Is like, we have wholesome food. We're going to be transparent with everything that we do. And you can sit here and physically come to the location and see whatever that, how it's being made or what product going inside of it. We want to be fully transparent with that, because products that people are eating inside of Walmart's, Winn-Dixie's, Publix, Piggly Wiggly's, or whatever, most of it is garbage, and they're killing you. So that's another reason why we wanted to go with that. It's like,
what's important about what you're doing is what actually brought me to Rodney was I've been looking out there for any allies from different industries, who are entrepreneurs, who are trying to produce quality products that actually help people, and they're not globalists. Okay, they're just normal people. And I've been trying to create this network. It's actually coming together wonderfully. I'm starting a multimedia company, as you guys know, but the two of you know, but it's called Brain Cage Multimedia. And we've got Rodney's movie in the works. That's going to be the first feature film from Brain Cage Cinematics, which is our film production branch of it. But we have comic books. We're trying to replace the really bad globalist anti-culture that's out there. And we have to get out there and do what we can. We got to reach out to bands, for example. Like I've talking to here and there. I talked to the guitarist Rohan Hayes of the band 12 Foot Ninja, Adam Janzi, the drummer of my favorite band Vola. You just got to get out there. You got to make these connections with people that you feel are good people who have integrity and are bringing something of quality to the world. And Javi, I've known you for a good I don't know how many years now, a handful of years, whatever. And you're always trying to make things happen. You're an entrepreneur. If something doesn't work, you don't get discouraged. You try something else. You keep at it. And I always respected that about you. And Rodney is the same way. Rodney, for 20 years, been doing stand-up comedy. He wasn't really hitting that big. He tried all these different characters. He did different routines. Finally, he came up with Leonard, and Leonard just exploded. And that's you got to keep trying these things. And those of you out there listening right now, if you've got a talent, you've got a drive, any kind of drive, reach out to people like us who are out there trying to do something. It doesn't matter if we're doing something completely different. Javi's got nuts. Rodney's got comedy. I've got comic books and movies.
Who doesn't love comedic nuts?
We can create our own universe.
Yes.
Join us as we create our own world.
You know, and I guess that does bring up, you know, if you didn't hear what they just said, you know, team up with people that have good intentions, like, you know, and explore those avenues. And again, look at some of these messages that Rodney's saying, and really ponder on these things, because some of them, you know, I don't. Everybody's got a different background and stuff like that, but some of the stuff he's spitting out is like deep. You have no idea how deep it is. You just
You know,
laugh.
I'm not religious, but I see a lot of wisdom in the teachings of doing business with the devil. The devil, okay? I'm not going to say the devil doesn't exist. I don't know. I don't think it's likely, but there are people who are out there with great power. Some of them believe they're representatives of the devil, right? Some of these globalists. Others are just using this occult for, you know, for whatever the networks. My point is, like making deals with Hollywood, for example. Okay, that's you can look at that as making a deal with the devil. Okay, now they'll come in, they'll be like, yeah, we're going to give you all this money, and we'll get all this prestige, all this stuff's going to be great. Now, what typically happens, it doesn't end up good for people who make deals with the devil. Okay, it doesn't work. I think selling your soul, selling your soul is an analogy or metaphor, I guess, for dealing with people you know have no integrity, who you know are thieves and liars, scummy. They're much worse, in fact, when you're talking about Hollywood, much worse than just thieves and liars. But it's not going to really end well. I'm losing sympathy by the day for every idiot that puts themselves in a situation in Hollywood where they're being Me Too'd or anything like that, because it's sort of like I look at them as the same way I look at people who go hang out with like the crackheads in town. Okay, you go hang out with the crackheads. What the hell's going to happen? It's not going to be good for you. Duh, idiots. You know, don't do business with the crackheads in your town, and don't go hang out with them.
And you know, we have the ability to hang out with who we want to more now than ever before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Lauren makes a very good, valid point. You know, it's whatever you give power to, they make it real. And there's a lot of philosophy out there about, you know, if you surround yourself with good people, then you become good people. If you surround yourself with bad people, then you become bad people. And there is hundreds of thousands of years of human socialism, or not socialism as a term, but like, you know, being social with everybody, and we have traits that are embedded in us, and it's repetitive, and again, you know, however you look at the world or whatever, you know, my philosophy being Native American is probably a lot different than a lot of people's, and just because of what our stories and stuff like that were. So I'm just saying this as my perspective. So I'm not saying this for anybody to say, okay, that's how I'm going to live my life now. But at the end of the day, if you surround yourself with successful people, you're going to be successful. It just happens that way. That's how we're wired. My thought.
Oh no, absolutely. I mean, if you you know, it's often been said. I mean, if you know what you want to become, go hang out with people who are already that.
Exactly.
You know, if you're hanging out with the same bunch of knuckleheads and nobody's doing anything with their lives, you got to change who you're hanging out with. And,
yeah, you become a knucklehead too.
Yeah. I mean, if you're looking around, hey, all your friends are living paycheck to paycheck, and their relationships are a disaster, and they're always making bad decisions. Oh, hey, go find somebody who doesn't do that stuff. Go hang out with them. You know.
Yeah.
And it's hard. People are mentally stressed. They've got strife and stress and depression in their lives, and you know they are working hard, and there's a lot of you know, stuff that's pitfalls and obstacles in your way. But you know, there's an old saying about that. You know, you got to pick yourself up by your bootstraps and get up and move on. You know, not every day is going to be great.
By the way, I'm sorry to interrupt. A different topic, by the way. This is some good news. Some really good news, guys. Something that's been worrying me is Meta. Okay. Fucker Turds
Yes.
new
Yes.
mind control device. Now get this. Meta has lost about 237 billion in value overnight. Boom!
Yep.
Boom! Sink! $237 billion overnight.
Couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
Oh,
Yeah.
gosh, take that,
But
CIA.
you know that's still going to be pushed though. It's going to happen though.
Yeah, it's coming. But you know, the thing is that it's early enough that we, as the people, could take
control how it's dictated.
You know, I mean, we have the ability to run the technology, everything. We can take control of it. We can take the media back. We can take back the movies. We can take back our video games and our music. We can create our stuff that we want and promote it amongst ourselves. We don't need them.
Yeah.
More so now than ever before.
They need us.
They don't have the gatekeepers are gone. It's all an illusion. Even though they were an illusion before, it's even more so just an illusion. It doesn't exist.
There's
It's
scrambling.
all just a Ponzi scheme. It's all just a big shell game going on. And when you see that and go, hey, I don't have to listen to what they tell me to listen to. I don't have to think the way they tell me to think. I can go and I can explore and I can learn. You know, one of the things I think is interesting about the idea of cultural appropriation, I find that kind of disturbing because learning from other cultures is so important. It's the key that makes America work is that we learn from each other and we go and we find the best of. That's why, you know, I love Native American culture, and they're trying to say that if you are a white person and you go to a powwow, or if you just study, or you know that you appreciate the culture, but somehow you're ruining it. You're ruining that culture, and it's like that is just ridiculous.
You know why I think that is, Rodney?
We need to be sharing with each other. Go ahead.
You know why I think that is the ones actually doing the appropriating are the corporations that go and, for example, make all these Cinco de Mayo products that they sell in the USA. They turn it into a shallow thing. So then what they do is they turn around and blame us, the little man, as always, for that kind of thing to distract away from the real deal. The actual topic that was on the table about cultural appropriation originally was corporations coming in and just turning it into crap, like what they did with Mexican tacos. Okay. You know, and I know that's something that you're interested in, the tamales and all that.
Oh,
but,
I love.
Oh, when you get a real Mexican taco or tamale, it's nothing like a U.S. taco or tamale. You know, because
now watch out. Now my wife's from Texas. Now Tex-Mex is a real thing now. That's as close to authentic as you can get. But
yeah, if you want to talk about cultural appropriation, that's just horrifying. Taco Bell.
Oh, yeah, that's the real deal. That's what I'm talking about right there.
Exactly.
People think that's an actual taco. I've had Mexican tacos. Okay, they are far beyond.
They're amazing. Like,
they are.
In case you missed it, people, I shared the story in a video it's about a week ago. I was at a Walmart, and there was a guy selling tamales in the parking lot, and it was a huge bag. It was like 24 tamales. I mean, the thing was gigantic. It took me 3 days to eat them. I ate 7 of them in one sitting. It was like potato chips. They were so good. Oh, and you know, that's one thing that I think we're missing is that everything has become so automatic and systematic. You know, we've created these systems that we forget what good food tastes like, and then when we taste it, we get it. It's like, oh, it's the best.
People have never tasted real food,
and that's
I'm surprised the people who've never had a tamale that they bought from somebody's trunk of their car in a parking lot. You're missing out.
And that's one of the things that we're bringing towards with these Dive Soda Emporium is we're going to be, because if you look at, and I didn't mean to interrupt you, but if you look at boiled peanuts is only constricted to 8 states. There's another 42 states that don't even know what a boiled peanut is, so they haven't even been experienced to that. So we're wanting to try to expand that as well, so you can, But I mean, I know it's nothing like real authentic Mexican or Tex-Mex, and there are some companies out that are mom and pops that are trying to bring real authentic like Tex-Mex or something like that, or Mexican food to the table. But you're overwhelmed by all these companies like Taco Bell, and they just wash that out, and it's hard for us small mom and pops to actually get that exposure where you can actually get a real decent food versus some kind of commercialized shit. No, excuse my French, that they're commercializing and selling to you, and it's unhealthy. Like, and what boggles me is like in the food industry, and since we're on this topic, McDonald's has been unhealthy for you guys forever. Like, we stopped eating McDonald's 20 years ago when they stopped using USDA meat and moved to other countries that didn't have any bearing on USDA. So there was no protection for you guys. So the stuff that you eat, like the potatoes, they're not even real potatoes. They're a mixture of a potato. I mean, you're getting sold, and then there's no other options for you guys, like people out there. And that's what we're trying to bring to the table, is something that is real. Like, when we move to hamburgers, we're not using anything but a local meat in whatever area that's closest to that restaurant. That's Perfect. Our model. Our model is to build it right in front of you, so that you can see that we're not playing around. We're going to put grinders to it and mix your meat right there in the space. When we make peanut butter, we're taking the peanuts that we got locally and making peanut butter, so you don't get this. And I don't mean to use name brand bullshit. And again,
I'd like to highlight what Lauren Morris said. Lauren's on fire. She's really in this topic. She said cooking with love is vital, and that brings me. You brought up McDonald's. Okay, in Bolivia, did you guys hear what happened to Bolivia here about a handful of years ago? McDonald's tried to set up there, and not a single Bolivian went there. Nope. And so they did. Yeah, they did a poll when they said, "Why didn't you guys come eat our slop?" And the Bolivian people said, "Because it is the exact opposite of what we actually want from food. To us, food is prepared a lot of times all day by the family, cooked with love and the best quality ingredients that we can get our hands on. Food is highly important in our culture. And see, I highly respect the Bolivian people for that. And honestly, Central and South American cultures overall, I highly respect. Like, people make fun of Mexicans in this country, which is something that really bothers me because, yeah, sure, there are some scummy Mexicans, of course, in our country, but I've never met one yet. All the Mexicans I've met out west and down in Florida and different places in the country I've lived, nicest family-oriented people I've met anywhere.
I got a great story. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we're bringing that up. It'll take a second, but I'll get there. So friends of mine are moving from Utah to Texas, and they're using my Suburban and trailer, big car hauler. They're using that to move, right? And they had just left. They'd only been on the road about 2 hours, and she lost control of the Suburban and slid off the side of the road and jackknifed the trailer. And so they were in a ditch in a snowbank in Utah. Fortunately, they were in a place where they had cell signal, so that was helpful. But a gentleman came by with a big truck, and he was Mexican, and he didn't speak English. The only reason they were able to communicate with him was her son just recently got off a LDS mission that was Spanish speaking. So he was excited he got to use his Spanish for something other than being a missionary. But anyway, but they communicated with this guy, and several other people stopped and helped. But this guy had everything they needed they were able to hook onto the Suburban, and he had big enough truck that he pulled the Suburban and the trailer out. And this is a guy who's out working, he's making a living, but he stopped to take his time, took time out of his day. He didn't speak English, but he still stopped to help and pulled them right out. And I mean, it would have, we talked, the highway patrol came by eventually, and they said that typically to get any kind of tow truck in that area, it takes up to 12 hours. But this guy, just kindness of his heart, pulled over. So of course, several other people stopped and helped her and pulled it out. But yeah, my interaction, I know it's anecdotal, but my interaction with everybody. I mean, Mexicans, Polynesians, always, Native Americans, always has been very, very positive. I mean, yeah, you find you as my grandfather, who Leonard is patterned after, he used to say, "There's nothing better than a human, and there's nothing worse."
I got a story about one of my mentors when I was, because it's hard for a Native American outside of a reservation to actually gain knowledge about their culture. So when you're meeting stuff and people like that, you listen to their stories for sure. Anyway, when the ships arrived here, and this stuck with me for forever since I've heard it, but we had three choices. We could either kill them in the boats and then send them back out to sea. We could either turn them around, or we could feed them and have them come ashore. And most of your Native Americans, when they were brought, the other cultures were brought over here. And a lot of people think that, the European or the Western side of society never came out here until after Columbus. That's not true. The Egyptians fled to the United States. There was actually Native Americans that were classified as Native Americans in South Florida that were black as the ace of spades. There were Native Americans that were in the northern states like New York and New Jersey and all that area that were white skinned with blue eyes and blonde hair. We've been culturally accepting people from a long time ago, and it's really interesting that the world is conformed into what it is nowadays, and people have lost that sense of being, and we have
I don't think it's the world. I don't think it's the world. I think it's certain countries that have been targeted, because for a long time now, fathers in the USA have been removed from the family unit now, a couple decades at least. When you break up the family unit, what happens? And also then when there's constant psyops about how fathers are bad, dad's bad, all the Lifetime original movies are about fathers being bad. It kills the family values of a society. And a big respect I have for Latin cultures, which, a lot of the music annoys me. Some of the aesthetics of Latin cultures, it's not for me. But the important core elements of those cultures we can learn from, we can remember, wake, not woke. Yeah, Lord. We can learn from them, because the reason why, one of the reasons why the USA has been going through this crap it's going through, and Mexico hasn't, and some of these other Latin countries hasn't, is because what this stuff is, these things are bad for the family and the community. And that's what those people care about more than anything else. And that's been taken from the U.S., a lot of people from the U.S. And we're going to fall for all the worst psyops when we're not doing things for families and stuff,
The rat race has a lot to do with that, and the situation that everybody's in by what they've created over a long time, and it's been in the works a long time, and it's been slowly, gradually given to you in little bite-sized pieces. And now the world is seeing what's going on, and they're awake, not woke, or whatever wording you want to put on that, and people are starting to see that. And then you got people like Mr. Norman here that are bringing it to more people's attention, and it's great. It's great to see that, because we have a saying too. It doesn't matter what color your skin is. If you're part of the two-legged clan or tribe, then you're part of it. And everybody is part of this whole world. We're all in this together, and And again, we got to take back what they've taken from us over decades, and start, creating good food, creating good content, creating good movies, and getting that back out there. But on the flip side of that coin, if you're still being passive and you're like, okay, yeah, that's a really good point, but you're not contributing, you're not supporting these local creators, you're not supporting these ideas or whatever, it makes it really hard for people like us that are trying to do that. We're building out a
we're against giants.
Yeah, we're
We're
building
up
out
against giants.
We're building out a manufacturing facility, and that takes money. And it's hard, and production for Mr. Norman and all that stuff, that takes money. And I'm not trying to pitch you guys like, hey, throw all this money towards. Make sure you follow people.
I am
real wholesome. And yeah,
I am.
I mean, yeah.
I've been prodding Rodney for months now that he needs to stream regularly, and I firmly believe that Rodney's community will support that. And I mean, keep those super chats coming in, guys. Rodney's barely scraping by to get from show to show. What I would love to see him doing is I would love to see him even streaming from his show. Like, for example, Tressa could be with one of Rodney's got some 4K cameras. Maybe she could be out in the audience with the camera capturing clips as we're streaming. After the show, he could be meeting some of you who actually go to the shows. You could be on the stream. I believe it could really do great and really help Rodney's career. And that's
great that
he
you
needs to make money.
Because like I said, I am in Las Vegas this weekend, and I am going live tonight. The show starts. I'm not going to show the other comics because I haven't talked to them. I don't want to broadcast their stuff without their permission. But if they're cool with it, I might. We might start early, but it's tonight about 8:00 Pacific time in Vegas. I think is California time, but yeah, I'm going to be doing live tonight. You can watch my stand-up comedy show. If you can't make it to the show, tune in. I'll be broadcasting. I got my son, Brighton, who is my tech guru. He raised the boy. He's had a computer his entire life. He knows this stuff. So he's going to be my guy broadcasting. This is the other thing. I just got news that my wife is still stuck in Dallas. She had a flight out today, and now it's been pushed back that she won't be here till tomorrow night. So I'm kind of
Dallas is
about that. I've been trying to get her here for 2 days now, but
that's a hell of an airport right there. Dallas is not a great airport. I hate Dallas. Just saying.
Yeah. Well, they have the bad weather, and they can't deal with it, and that's just backed up everything else. And then, of course, because of regulations, they can't have people work too many hours, and
that's a form of
I'm frustrated. I missed my wife. I haven't seen her in almost a month now. So
wow.
I'm really looking forward to having her here, because I've had to come back to Utah to deal with things, and it's been.
We can see the twitch in your eye there, Mr. Norman. It's showing. It's like,
I am frustrated because I love my wife dearly. I just love being with her, and but the other part is just if it was me stuck, it wouldn't be so bad. But it's my wife, and there's nothing I could do to comfort her.
Yeah.
There's nothing I could, she because of everything's closed down because of the weather, so she can't get out. The roads are so bad that there's nobody can really come and get her and take her somewhere, so she's just stuck. It's frustrating. So.
It sucks, man. It wasn't the Houston's the George Bush Airport, right?
Yeah.
That's not a
I was there. It's the worst one I've ever seen because several years ago when I arrived there, the first thing I heard when I stepped off the plane was threat level is orange. And I'm like, oh God, we got, it's the George Bush Airport too, right? So
Yeah.
he's throwing out that threat level. That was his whole branding thing, right?
Yeah.
And then there was a Fox News bookstore. This is the first thing I saw. I'm like, oh my God, threat level. We got Fox News. Yeah, get me the hell out of here.
Yeah, when 9/11 happened, I was on the plane that hit one of the buildings, and I wasn't on it, but my wife knew that I was on it because I used to fly for my business. And I was stuck in Houston, and one of my kids was about to be born in Florida. So luckily, I found a military buddy, and we actually got a car. But yeah, when 9/11 hit, I was on that plane, and it went up to New York. And my wife was scared because she thought I was still on the plane, because normally I did fly in New York and come back down. And I didn't. I was in Houston. I was fixing to come back out. But they shut everything down, that was my fourth son. And yeah, he was actually born on 9/11. So, or no.
Bobcat wants to know. Bobcat wants to know what advice you would give a man to find his soulmate, Rodney.
To find your soulmate. Oh. Well, first of all, stop looking, because this idea of a soulmate I think it's kind of silly, because I think a soulmate isn't something, or a true love, if you will, isn't something that you find. It's something that you create. It's something that you build. And the right person isn't someone that you necessarily pursue. It's somebody who you attract, and it's kind of, if you think I'm lonely, I'm always lonely, well, then your brain's going to say, okay, we're lonely, we're always lonely, and you're never going to be in the right frame of mind to find the person. You know what I mean? Plus, you're putting your expectations are too irrational, if you will. I don't want to say too low, but they're irrational expectations.
Yeah, I believe it's Psyops.
When you're comfortable with who you are, you attract the person that's. That's why I did that video about recently about you're beautiful, ugly. You're beautiful to the people that are attracted to what you are, and you're ugly to the people who aren't. So don't be hung up about whether or not you're good looking or not. You're going to be good looking to the person that needs you to be good looking. You know what I mean? And so it's just you learn to just be healthy and happy yourself, and you'll attract what it is that you're looking for.
Yeah, let's be real. Most of us are ugly bastards, and we're not Hollywood people who have a bunch of work done on our bodies and faces, and we don't have all this stuff. We're real people. Real people aren't that attractive a lot of times. Most of us, I don't think, are, especially in the USA, where people just aren't attractive, and I think people need to look beyond that kind of stuff. You still need to be physically attracted to somebody that you're with, to where you can do these kinds of things, right? That are kind of important to keep in a bond in a relationship. But people put, I think, too much on that, put too much on that.
Well, it goes down to what social media, and when I say social media, I'm talking about everything: radio, TV, newspapers, magazines, or whatever. They portray this idealism of what is attractive, and you get hooked into that, and you buy into it, and you think that, oh, she's got to look like that in order for me to be attracted to her, or he looks like that in order for me to be attracted to her. And decency, humble, respectful people are just people. So maybe you should pivot your what you're looking for in a soulmate to what you're actually really. Sit down and think about what you're looking for, because the appearance of that woman may not be the appearance of that magazine that you're referring to, or that movie that you're referring to, and you will be happier with that person in whatever form she takes. And I don't want to say that necessarily you'll learn to be attracted physically to them, but I think if you change your perspective my thoughts, being Native and how we think, I would think that you would, change the perspective on what it looks like on the appearance, and look for more of what it's actually doing
yeah.
and portraying.
I think somebody becomes more attractive as you get to know them and you love them. They just become more attractive.
Yeah.
Yep, you
You
see
know,
the beauty in the real person.
Yeah, when you look like with me and my wife, she was bombshell beautiful when we met, and I thought there's no chance in this world that I could ever be with this girl. I mean, I was just like, there's no way, right? She's out of my league, and that helped me because I was like, okay, I have no shot, so I'm not even going to try. And because I wasn't trying, I was more natural and comfortable around her because I wasn't trying to impress her because I thought there's nothing I could do to impress her anyway. And then she was impressed. And
Yeah.
and then we got to know each other and just really hit it off. And, over the years, we're both getting older. We're, getting gray or, weight fluctuate up and down. And, she's gained weight because of having birth, to, 5 children. And yet she's more beautiful every time I look at her. And I don't care. She's got a wart on her nose. Sometimes she has hair growing on her lip. And I don't care. I don't care about it. She's just more beautiful to me every single day.
Yeah.
And because I see this woman who's been with me through everything. She's the woman who encouraged me to do stand up. I mean, think about that. She wanted me to do stand up. She's gone out of her way to push me to do it. And she supported me the whole time. And when I look at her, she is the mother of my 5 children. She sacrificed her body to give me 5 children.
Mm-hmm.
I love every inch of her. I love everything about her. And what this whole idea of getting, that you have to have, a younger, fitter woman, or we have these ideals that we've been pushed. This is what beauty is. Beauty is what you decide it is. That's always been the thing. The idea of aesthetics. What is beauty and what is not? What is art? What is not? That's for you to decide. That's not for culture or society to decide. It's for you. You decide.
I like what Gary said. He said, real people have no need to twerk to attract a potential partner. Twerking will not get you a partner. Twerking might get you laid, but it's not going to get you a partner. Okay, those kinds of things. This is where there's a lot of confusion, I think, in our culture. Think about it. What do you want out of life? What I wanted was I want to make a comic book. I want to make movies. My girlfriend Missy, I wouldn't be making my book Gun Demon, which by the way is on Indiegogo. Gun Demon on Indiegogo. It's live right now. Back it. I wouldn't be working on making my comic book if it wasn't for Missy. Missy's in my corner. She, out of all these women that I attempted relationships with over the last few decades, she was the only one that was willing to build a life with me. The rest thought that I was just going to make it big, next week or something, and then we'll be rich or some crazy, unrealistic stuff without them doing anything to help. And I still don't think I'm going to be rich or anything like that. But, it's just I want to launch my book. I want to make movies. I want to entertain people and give people something else other than the mainstream entertainment that's out there. And I wouldn't be doing it without Missy. So, if I were to become, let's say, very successful, rich, have prestige or something, well, there's going to be like tens coming, and wanting to be a part of it, get that, right? Because, now you're somebody. Well, I was somebody to Missy when I had no money in my pocket.
Yeah.
Bad teeth. I got, I have poverty teeth, what I'm saying? She didn't care. She saw something in me, and that's why I am chasing my goals and dreams right now.
Well, on that topic right there, we're Native American, so we're matrilineal. So on the hierarchy, women are above men. And I tell you what, I wouldn't tell my wife if she had a stub toe or something, like, she'd cut me. So I don't say anything. She knows where I sleep, so I'm good. I'm just gonna leave it there. Hey, you put all that in a box of chocolates, woman. That's all I'm gonna say.
That's kind of scary to me, though. American modern woman mixed with matriarchal philosophy. That's I'm worried for you, brother. I'm really worried for you here.
I'm glad I got a native one, because they know how not to. You can abuse that manipulation really quick. So I'm glad, because he'd have me hopping on one leg or something stupid like that, and I'd be like, "Yes, ma'am. I ain't gonna argue with you."
Oh, yeah.
In the chat, teamwork and all kidding aside, that is definitely if you can't have a relationship that's in the same focus, in my opinion, in the same focus together as a team, it's going to be hard to make it. And I see a lot of people that are not in a major, like this type of relationship where they don't consider their wife, and they have separate bank accounts and stuff like that, because I don't know why. And when you separate that, you're not in a relationship. You're in a partnership that's going to be like any kind of other business. If it doesn't align financially, you're going to be separating pretty quick. And that's I think, to me, that's what's happening with a lot of people in society today in the United States, is they don't partner up with a partner to do life goals. They partner up as a financial goal. In some instances, but most more than other, I think. I don't know the statistics on that, but I see that a lot. Is that they don't really have that that relationship, like a life goals, and then like that with 48 years. You have to be in line with each other to make it 48 years. I don't know how long Rodney's been in a relationship or what. I'm pushing 22, and it's because I was lucky enough to learn that my spouse is my partner, not just another object or not another. And she treats me the same way. I'm not her husband. It's a mutual thing, in my perspective.
Oh, it is. Like I said, we're always looking for ways to make each other's life better. Do things for each other, just out of just wanting to do it, not expecting anything back from it. Just love making her happy.
That tit for tat stuff doesn't work.
No,
you did this for me. I do this for you.
Yeah, it's silly when it becomes a competition, or it's bad. It's corrosive to a relationship. But
as well.
Yeah.
Let's keep those super chats coming in, people. Let's if this can be something that can be some income for Rodney, he'll keep this going.
Yeah, I need to try to get my wife home.
Yeah, no kidding, and not be worried about how you're going to get to the next show. That's a big deal. A lot of you, I don't think you get what he's really doing out there. Is he's basically him and Tressa both are just really doing what they can just to get from show to show, and this is one of those times. I'm gonna shill a little bit for Rodney here. And say, come on, bring this in, because I think a lot of you would love to see Rodney streaming regularly. And I've reached out to some different people out there to have them on as a guest on his show. Some really interesting people, and if we could make this an actual platform here, this could be a regular thing.
With good intention.
Oh, in that regards, and also about relationships, this is fun. I don't know if I've talked about this before, but I am now performing weddings. I'll be marrying people.
Nice.
Now, are you doing that as Mr. Krunsky, or are you doing that?
It will be as Mr. McCrunsky, yes. Mr. McCrunsky will be officiating weddings.
It's funny
got my first one coming up here in April. And
can you give us an example of what you're going to, like, how you're going to do this? How, like, what would Leonard say in such a,
I'm thinking about getting my vows renewed now. I am. So
we could do that.
That would be interesting.
Well, I don't want to give it away, but if you watch my beautiful ugly video, you'll get a good idea of what I'm talking about.
Dearly beloved, we're kind of here to do this thing.
Okay, so
I can imagine.
I would like for you to look into each other's eyes. And as you see each other now, just remember it goes downhill from here. He's going to lose his hair. She's going to get fat.
So are you.
So at this moment, just take this in and just remember that in those moments, the person you're looking at was the one that person still exists. They're just covered up by a whole bunch of years of anger, frustration, and disappointment.
Yeah, I need my vows renewed. You nailed it on the head.
I might have to finally marry Missy just so that we can have you officiate our wedding.
It will be fun.
I can guarantee that.
Well, I had a couple that had me. They flew me to San Diego to be in the wedding. I was part of the wedding. Then I performed. I did comedy at the afterwards, the reception. But another couple, I've had several people reach out to me about actually officiating the wedding, and I figured out how to pull it off. And I'm going to be doing my first one up in Washington in April. So
that's cool. So cool.
That is really cool.
It's a lot of fun. Let's see, what was there?
Mohawk tribe. Oh.
But I think modern culture is trying to destroy the family unit, and it's so important for people to realize how having family and having someone that's on your team, that's on your side, that's there as a partnership, that is such an amazing and beautiful thing. And I said, it's not something you just fall into. It's something you have to build, you have to create. You both have to be into it 100%. You both have to be wanting to make it work, wanting to just that your part of your life's mission is to make the other person's life better and happier. And when you're doing that, when you have a competition of making each other happy, that's a good healthy thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know? I said, Teresa 38 years, best friends. Of course, she loves me. Of course. Why would you not? Laughter. Thank you. Again, that's my mission. That's my goal. Just trying to bring a little peace, love, joy, and happiness to the world.
Yeah, and if you take away the social stuff, like what everybody's trying to conform you to, and you actually communicate and y'all get on the same path, man, it's easy. But when you take out these outside derogatory or misleading ways that you're supposed to live, it makes it hard in a relationship. I mean, my thoughts is, filter out all the bullshit and get to the brass tacks on why you're with her and or him or whatever, and then make it work. Have fun with it.
Like I said, I'm always reminded of that beautiful woman that I fell in love with. That's still her. That's still her.
Oh yeah. I don't. Like on that, if you look at who was the guy that did 007, the Pierce Brosnan?
Yes.
Look at his relationship with his wife.
Yes.
That's the same mentality he has. So he, in that perspective, he's good people. I'm not leaving her. She mothered my 5 kids. She's beautiful.
Yeah, she's
no matter what you think that she looks like, it's what I think that she looks like.
Yeah, perfect example.
Yep.
Oh, that was it. That's it. Okay, so this is a nice little segue. I've teased this a little bit, but I've lost a lot of weight lately. and I am now. I okay. I'm okay. If you guys can tell, camera not so much, but I am. I am. My pants. Okay, my son freaked out the other day because we're hanging out together. So we're doing laundry, and he pulls this pair of pants out, and he says the 30-inch waist, or is this some woman's pants got in the laundry? Whose are they? And I'm like, those are mine.
Somebody been working out.
I've been eating. I've been doing the intermittent fasting.
You can't do this now. You can't do that part of your dry bar stand up.
No, in fact, I did a joke the other day about being fat, and it did not land at all. People thought I was mocking people, and I realized I can't do fat jokes anymore because I'm not fat. I got a little bit of a paunch, a little bit still there, but no, I cannot do that joke. That was recorded at the perfect time when I still had a belly.
You should maybe get a pillow.
I got to tell you about that joke.
Do it. You must.
Okay. So it was another comedian was doing jokes about being fat, right? And I told him, "Hey, you ought to do this." You know that. Hey, you ever see fat do this? And he wouldn't do it. He wouldn't. I said, "You got to show your belly. You got to show. You got to do it." And he wouldn't do it. Right? It was a tag on to his joke that he was doing about being fat, and he wouldn't do it. And so I said, "I'm telling you, this will kill." And he goes, No, it's just embarrassing. I couldn't do that. And so that night at the club, you know, we were talking before the show, and so that night at the show, I did the joke, and it absolutely murdered. And eventually, for many years, it was my closer. It was that's how I closed the show out, was pulling my belly out. But yeah, I can't do that joke anymore. So yeah, you got to go to Drybar to see it.
That was the best joke, in my opinion, out of that entire stand-up. It's easy to make fun of other people. For a lot of people to make fun of others, but making fun of yourself is the best part. That's the best, in my opinion. I like that the most, when somebody can really show that they can handle it. They can make fun of themselves and not take themselves too seriously. That's really great.
Being Native American, we fast once a month. Our months are 13, and then actually we have certain ceremonies that we fast for like over 7 days. 7 days typically.
Oh wow!
So it's actually that's a pretty big thing in our culture. Traditionally,
I fast, but not because it's a culture or anything. I'm just broke, so that's why I fast. So please back Gun Demon so I can eat steak again, people. It's been like a year. I need steak.
Yeah, I've been having fun with the whole intermittent fasting because I just, I'll fast up to 3 days at a time. The longest I've gone is 5 myself, but it's usually about 20 hours.
It is. In all honesty, if you do your research on fasting, it does benefit your body, especially with and pardon me for saying this, but the shit that you guys have to eat, it's just you got to get rid of that stuff.
Yeah, well, it gives your body a chance, because your body's a filter, and it wants to get rid of the garbage, but if you constantly keep putting garbage in it, it can't never get rid of everything. So you got to give your body time to get rid of everything.
And I'm not
it out.
I'm not like a spokesperson for this person, or this company, but there's a product called Sunnies, and it's what Native Americans used to do. It's actually a clay, and the toxins and stuff like that are inside your body are negatively charged, and this clay is positively charged. So what happens is when you absorb this clay, it goes through your body, and it attracts all of this bile and whatever this negative stuff inside your body, and it removes that. And typically on a,
Bentonite clay, is that what they call it?
what is it now?
Bentonite?
Yeah, bentonite. Yep.
That's
So,
what they call it.
yep. In moderation, don't go out and get real bentonite and start chunking it into your mouth. Don't do that.
Yeah,
there's
get food grade. You got to get food grade stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
But the reason why it works is because scientifically, one is negative charged, one's positively charged. It attracts to each other, and then you can dispense it out of your body because your body doesn't want that clay inside of it. And it works, and the natives have been doing that for forever.
Go grab
Traditionally, now there's some natives that have been, I won't put a tagline behind it, but they've been converted. So they have the same issues that everybody else does. The bad food will get to you. But yeah, meditation, fasting, how you live your life, eating healthy, watching what you're consuming, for your kids too. Don't just give your kids like whatever because it's cheap and it's convenient. Really do your research, man. It's your responsibility as a person.
Yeah, it's your body. Take care of it.
Protect your temple.
Yeah, I mean, you are what you absorb. I like to say that rather than eat because I think of it on different levels. What you absorb into your mind, into your body, all those things, into your area, even like your surrounding, your environment, even what we are, what we absorb, and that's one thing that really bothers me. Is not being able to eat the kind of foods that I want to eat is because I'm eating crap and I know it's crap and it angers me. Once again, I'm going to go into put the tinfoil hat on, but Bill Gates bought up most of our food supply, most of our food production.
Oh yeah, he's been buying it like crazy for the last.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure I've been eating that crap for a while now. Just things don't taste right, and some people say, well, maybe you got the COVIDs, and I'm like, well, the thing is some things taste just fine, like they always have. Things smell to me the same way that they always have. It's just certain products taste like they don't taste like food. I've eaten some meat products in the last 6 months, 8 months, 10 months. I'm not sure how long. That my body just rejected it. I took a bite and I'm like, what is this? This is not food. And I'm really afraid of that, what he's putting in it, because.
Yeah. Well, I had McDonald's. I don't eat McDonald's very often. I think I eat it like twice a year just to remind myself why I don't eat it. But I had it, it was about 3 months ago. I took one bite and I got nauseated. I just threw the rest of it out. I haven't been back to I don't even acknowledge McDonald's in my mind anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They got busted selling human meat. You know that, right?
That's what I've heard. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, once I heard that and saw that there was evidence that they did this at multiple different McDonald's locations, that was it for me. And the people that I really worry about mentally, like I think about them and I think there's something wrong with these people, are the people that I've shown this data to, and they continue to eat at McDonald's.
That's what I don't get either. And that's a problem with society, is that maybe I don't know what the circumstances are for it, but there needs to be a lot of push towards. I mean, everybody's health is everybody's health, right? They almost want you to get unhealthy to die, and that circulation of people, and the problem, and even Elon Musk is already stating that the population regrowth now is diminishing, and if you look at it scientifically, we're not producing babies as much as we used to be, like the boomer point, and it's declining, and at one point, you're gonna be like maybe 1 million people or 2 million. I'm just throwing numbers out there, but it's actually proven. The analytics are there. They're killing us in all different directions, mentally, physically, all that stuff. It's crazy.
I don't think that's a sane human being. Once you've been told and shown evidence that human meat is being served at a specific restaurant and you continue eating there, I refuse to believe that person is sane.
Yeah, well, that's another thing is they've got what you were talking about before, those psyops. They've got these people out there that are pointing the direction. Well, that's all just crazy Karens. When somebody's telling you something decent, they're saying, "Oh, that's a Karen," and somebody's telling you something bad, "Oh, that's a Karen." So they get these labels out there, and they sway you, and they change it, manipulate that meaning.
I think Shauna is telling us that she likes human meat. She's got a baby in her belly right now as we speak, she says.
Right.
So I guess she can eat McDonald's.
Yeah, she can eat McDonald's. No, don't do that.
Yeah, congratulations, Shauna, by the way.
Yeah, congrats. I got 7. Catch up.
Are you going to name your child Rodney, even if it's a girl?
I've had people name their pets after me. I've been naming
after
a couple of rabbits.
Name the baby Leonard.
Hamster.
You got to name the baby Leonard.
Leonard. There you go.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, hey, it's been 2 hours, my friends. This has been good. But I got things I got to go do. I got to go figure out how to get my wife here. So
yes.
Good luck with that.
But thank you for joining me. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for the gifts. Thank you. Go check out D's Nuts, and of course, Gun Demon. Is that right?
Gun Demon on Indiegogo. Yes, sir. I dropped the link in the chat for both.
And if you're interested in watching live tonight, if we have enough interest, we'll go ahead and set it up. But just drop me a message somewhere saying you want to watch, and we'll make sure you get the link and know where to find us. So,
and if you search us up on and it's These Nuts Boiled Peanuts. There's other names out there. There's a lot of people that have These Nuts, but ours is These Nuts Boiled Peanuts. We're the only ones with that one. So if you want to check us out, it's These Nuts Boiled Peanuts on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, all that stuff.
Cool. All right. Anybody? Any other last minute plugs? Anybody?
You can find me on Facebook, Gregory L. Levitt, just like my name here shows, and Brain Cage Multimedia Facebook page, or Gun Demon Facebook page, or if you're on Twitter @TankFerretArt, because I've been permanently banned. So one of my team members handles my Twitter, so you can reach out to Tank, and he'll @TankFerretArt. He can get a message to me or something. But yeah, everybody just keep trying to fight the mainstream. It's not about being a hipster. It's about trying to create real culture and destroy this anti-culture that our enemies are creating. So please back people like Rodney out there who are doing independent comedy, back comic book creators like me that are out there trying to create new culture that's not warping minds, and entrepreneurs like Javi that are trying to put out some, independent quality products, things for you to absorb into your body that's worth absorbing. Please back people like us, even if it's not us. Find somebody that's independent, trying to do something and stand up to these corporations, and please back them. Try to cut these corporations out of your lives as much as possible.
Yep. We're taking back manufacturing for our products so that we can produce a good, wholesome product for people, because we're a family just like you guys.
Yeah, and when Rodney does these, do the super chats. These super chats can keep Rodney doing this. It can keep him traveling to the different locations. I see a lot of you saying, come to this state, come to this city, or whatever. I mean, if Rodney is making enough from super chats, then he doesn't have to rely on making so much from each of the locations he goes to. If a bunch of people don't show up, I mean, I'm sure, he could hit more locations that way.
Yeah, it takes y'all support, all of us.
Absolutely. Again, thank you everyone for joining us today. We'll be doing these more. Stay in touch. Let me know if you're interested. We'll go live tonight from Wise Guys in Las Vegas. You can see my stand up.
Thank you for having me.
Fun.
Appreciate it, Rodney. Thank you.
All right. Thank you all, and we shall see you another time.
Peace, nuts.